$169 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, Select Quote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. For your free quote, call Select Quote at 1-800-330-1991. That's 1-800-330-1991. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-330-1991. Select Quote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
March Madness wrapping up with an April win for the new men's college basketball national champion. The University of Connecticut beating San Diego State for the title. And ABC's Jim Ryan, who was there, says the host city of Houston won as well.
A year of planning and preparation has paid off for the Bayou City, which will see about a $100 million windfall from hosting the Final Four.
I think it's good, not great.
University of Houston economics professor Stephen Craig says $100 million sounds like a lot until you consider that.
It's not like anyone has a stack of $20 bills that high. It's spread over a lot of people.
He thinks the lack of a Texas team or a so-called blue blood school like Villanova may have dampened some enthusiasm for this year's Final Four. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Houston.
And with the COVID pandemic receding, so were feelings of loneliness among a lot of us. ABC's Mark Remillard has the story.
The survey found 17% of Americans, representing about 44 million people, self-reported feeling significant loneliness. That's down, though, from a 25% high in 2020 and early 2021. Researchers from Gallup say the survey of more than 5,000 adults suggests the transition to a post-COVID pandemic world may be easing mental health challenges for some, especially young and low-income individuals that researchers found were at a higher risk of feeling lonely. Loneliness can negatively affect people's health and has been linked to poorer mental and emotional states. Mark Remillard, ABC News.
This is ABC News.
As a roofer, I'm always on the go, so I need to be able to get things done from anywhere. That's why I partner with Beacon. With the new Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips. It's like having my Beacon rep in my pocket 24/7. I rely on Beacon because I never stop building, and neither do they. Now through June, purchase through Beacon Pro Plus and earn up to $1,500. Beacon, always building.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
It's a ridge of high pressure that is going to increase the heat over the next few days. For the next 3 days, it'll be in the 80s. Cooler rain for Friday and perhaps the holiday weekend as well. It's morning clouds, then afternoon sunshine today. It's warmer with upper 70s to low 80s. Mostly clear and mild tonight. It'll feel pretty good Wednesday morning with those lows in the upper 50s to low 60s. Later in the afternoon, we'll call it toasty, partly cloudy with mid to upper 80s for your highs on Wednesday. I'm Mike Mays in the North Carolina News Network Weather Center.
It's time now for My Great America with Jim and Butch, a conversation about positive things about this great country. And now here are Jim and Butch.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to My Great America with Jim and Butch. This is an abbreviated portion of My Great America with Jim and Butch this morning. In fact, Butch is under the weather this morning. He's not here, and I'm here to fill in a few gaps here for a few minutes. This will be the final episode of My Great America with Jim and Butch at this time period. We are putting it on the side and make room for other things as the new management takes over. This will be the last episode, and we were going to do this together this morning, but Butch is under the weather. I hope you'll pray for him and make sure that he is going to be okay. We hope he will be okay. But through My Great America with Jim and Butch over these, I don't know how many episodes we have done over the years now, but we wanted to highlight the strength of our great country, America. We do live in a great country. We wanted to bring out the strength and some of the people that our forefathers that formed our nation under God to make it what we are today. There's been a lot of scars, a lot of blemishes, a lot of bumps in the road along the way as we formed our nation. But overall, we still have a great, strong nation. And many people who have helped form this nation over the years, and many who are doing this thing, some of the same things now, are dependent upon the one who we feel like helped form this nation. One nation under God. And we have had a lot of opportunities to ring those bells in these past few months as we've done this My Great America with Jim and Butch. We've highlighted some of the great founders of our country that before they made decisions, they bowed on their knees, even in a room of highly scholared men that told them they got on their knees and they prayed for a country that he would make the right decision. George Washington is noted for praying many times as he helped found this country. And other great leaders were doing the same kind of thing because they felt like there is a greater power than anybody of human nature. We have intelligent men and women who help do these kind of things. Without the strength, without the power, not the wisdom from the Almighty God, it is fruitless because we sometimes stumble and fall. That's what we wanted to do over the years as we have had this program. We've highlighted the strength of our nation. We also, I feel like, tried to highlight the strength of our state because we have a great state of North Carolina. And many folks have worked hard and are working hard even today. We have some great leadership there in Raleigh to help form the things that we need to do as a state. Yes, there are those
You're
times
70 or older. Here's a question. Do you still need your life insurance policy? Or does selling your life insurance for a large immediate cash payout make more sense? Think about it. Your children are growing on their own. And now you could use more cash to really enjoy your retirement. Maybe cover medical expenses. More cash for your retirement is what Life Settlement by Benefit Advance is all about. With Benefit Advance, you don't surrender your life insurance. You sell all or part of it. And that gets you a lot more money. Money for any purpose. To enjoy your retirement, pay medical bills,
begin to close. Stonecutter, Spindale Mills, and many of the others began to close, and folks were distressed and lonely. But we bounced back. It opened the door to many entrepreneurs that opened businesses, started their own business, would not have done that had there not been that downslide of the economy. So oftentimes when there is a downside of the economy or downside of our lives, we can find other ways to strengthen that back up and pull it back up and do some of the positive things that helps strengthen our nation. We've talked about some of our leaders that in the county. We've organized different ideas and presented them to different people, helping move forward. We're now in the early stages of a designation of this interstate designation of 74. It's going to open up a lot of possibilities for us in the county with businesses and industry and opportunities for us to grow even more economically speaking. So with that in mind, this designation of the interstate with 74 that just announced that is on target right now and moving forward was a great positive thing that's happening to Rutherford County and western North Carolina. So yes, there is a lot of good, strong things going on in our nation, in our state, and in our county. Yes, do we roll up in a barrel and say, oh, well, it's too bad, I can't do anything about it? No, I hope not, because when things get tough, that's when the tough really get going. It's an old trite statement, but that's the case. When things get tough, that's when we really buckle up and really start doing some things to make it better. We've improved. Things are created when things are bad. A lot of the mistakes that made in chemistry created ideas that have been now a mainstay of products that we use across the country. Ivory soap, for instance, it wasn't made to float. It just so happened that it did, and it became a national product of Ivory soap. It floats, and some others. So when there are down spots, that's the time to look around, look up, and find some creative ways to overcome and sidestep those obstacles that may hinder us. We've talked about some of the things that we feel good about, and that is one of the things we feel good about is our law enforcement. Those folks who step up to the plate and become law enforcement people, investigators, detectives, all the people from inside the ranks, first step inside after basic training to becoming on up the line to leaders in the uniform area of law enforcement. We're proud of them. We've recognized them in many cases. I know the Republican Party has honored them on several occasions with breakfast and invited all the folks who are in law enforcement, firefighters, highway patrol, troopers, everybody come to a breakfast. We've done that on several occasions because we appreciate what they're doing. We don't appreciate everything that's being done out there to them, and we recognize that they take their lives in their own hands every time they answer a call. thank the Lord, this young deputy that was shot the other day, his life was spared. He will be injured for a while, but his life was spared. But he was out there protecting us, because there we were wondering what was going on. And we had those guys in uniform and those in plain clothes out there. Highway Patrol was out there. The SBI was out there. Our deputies from here in the county, our municipal folks, they were all out there fighting this fight for us, because there we were in the comfort of our home wondering. They were out there finding out how to protect us. We have that occasion on many occasions. We have those guys that take their life in their own hands when they go to a domestic problem. They tell me domestic situations are some of the most dangerous of all things they investigate, because there's a temper tantrum going on right there, and they're mad. Whoever it is, husband mad, wife's mad, boyfriend, they're all mad at that particular moment, and that's one of the worst situations. But they walk in there with determination to calm things down. That's when many times a deputy will get shot. So we ought to, with our daily prayers, offer up many prayers for these folks, men and women, who decide, I want to protect my family, I want to protect my children, I want to take my homeland. So they go into law enforcement, not because it's glamorous, not because there's a lot of money there, because there is not a lot of money, not enough money for what they do. Firemen the same way. Every time there's a fire call out there or distress call out there, they're there. And they're there to protect us. Not a lot of money there either, but they are there because they believe in what they're doing. So we need to thank them every time we see one. We need to pray for them every day and recognize the fact that without folks like firemen, law enforcement officers, rescue folks, 911 folks, well, all those folks coming together makes us a better society, makes our country and our county a better place and a safer place to live. So we encourage you to think about that. We tried to, with this program, My Great America, with Jim and Butch, we've tried our best to point out a lot of the positive things that's going on. We've encouraged you to get involved in situations that we knew they would be advantageous for you, advantageous for us, and advantageous for the cause on which we fight. We tried our best to keep it as fair and square as possible without making anybody upset and angry, but we had to be honest and forthright with our beliefs, and so we're trying to do that. Butch is a great master of words, great master of research. He did a great job of bringing in information that sort of put a lot of light on to the subject that we were talking about. He's a great partner to have in My Great America. The program will be ending here today. As a matter of fact, this will be the last one. We're going to do the new ownerships are moving it around, and we felt like, Butch and I felt like it's time to sort of put it aside. He pointed out to me in a telephone message the other day that I think is a pretty, if I can find it here, let me see if I can find it here. This is from Ecclesiastes. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born, and a time to die. A time to plant, and a time to pluck up that which has been planted. A time to kill, a time to heal. A time to break down, a time to build up. A time to weep, and a time to laugh. A time to mourn, and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones. A time to gather stones together. A time to embrace, and a time to get, and a time to lose. A time to keep, and a time to cast away. A time to rend, and a time to sow. A time to keep silence, and a time to speak. A time to love, and a time to hate. A time of war, and a time of peace. And it's a time that programs like this will have to come to an end, because there may be opportunities for other opportunities to open up for some people. We didn't know when we started this how far this program would go. We didn't know how popular it would become. It has been received by many very well. We thank you for all those folks who have responded, telling us how much you enjoyed and appreciated the program. Those of you who have won things that we have given away on the program, congratulations to you, and thank you for listening. It's been a very meaningful opportunity for me to associate with someone like Butch Maltby, who is so well trained and got a great background in serving humanity, in serving his God, and loving people. So it's been a growth experience for me to be with him. And I'll miss these opportunities on Tuesdays and Thursdays to be here with My Great America. But these things also must pass. And I said this is going to be an abbreviated portion, but I do want to end with a couple of things that it always meant a lot to me, particularly our flag. You know, I'm a great, love my flag. I'll fly mine whenever I can. Matter of fact, mine at home, the big heavy winds we got recently broke my rope, and my flag at home is down, so I've got to get that back put up. But one out here is flying in the breeze, and we always love to look at it when we come and go. So I love my flag. I love being a citizen of the United States of America, North Carolina, and of Rutherford County. So this one, many of you know and recognize this. It's the old Red Skelton version of the Pledge of Allegiance. Listen to this one.
I remember a teacher that I had. Now, I went through the 7th grade. I went to the 7th grade, and I left home when I was 10 years old because I was hungry. And I used to, this is true. I work in the summer, and I go to school in the winter. But I had this one teacher. He was the principal of the Harrison School in Vincennes, Indiana. To me, this was the greatest teacher, a real sage of my time, anyhow. He had such wisdom. And we were all reciting the Pledge of Allegiance one day. And he walked over, this little old teacher. Mr. Laswell was his name. Mr. Laswell, he says, I've been listening to you boys and girls recite the Pledge of Allegiance all semester, and it seems as though it's becoming monotonous to you. If I may I recite it and try to explain to you the meaning of each word? I, me, an individual, a committee of one, pledge. Dedicate all of my worldly goods to give without self-pity. Allegiance, my love and my devotion to the flag, our standard, Old Glory, a symbol of freedom. Wherever she waves, there's respect, because your loyalty has given her a dignity that shouts, freedom is everybody's job. United. That means that we have all come together. States, individual communities that have united into 48 great states. 48 individual communities with pride and dignity and purpose. All divided with imaginary boundaries, yet united to a common purpose. And that's love for country. And to the Republic, a state in which sovereign power is invested in representatives chosen by the people to govern. And government is the people. And it's from the people to the leaders, not from the leaders to the people, for which it stands. One nation, meaning so blessed by God, indivisible, incapable of being divided, with liberty, which is freedom, the right of power to live one's own life without threats, fear, or some sort of retaliation. And justice, the principle or qualities of dealing fairly with others. For all, which means, boys and girls, it's as much your country as it is mine. And now, boys and girls, let me hear you recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Since I was a small boy, 2 states have been added to our country, and 2 words have been added to the Pledge of Allegiance: under God. Wouldn't it be a pity if someone said that is a prayer and that would be eliminated from schools too?
For the millions suffering from long COVID, there is one urgent question. How long?
How long?
Until we solve long COVID. The Solve Long COVID initiative is bringing people together to find answers now. Go to solvelongcovid.org to learn more.
When my business got bigger, many things changed. My lunches got shorter, more meetings arranged. My budget got bigger, but all that it meant was I cared even more about how it was spent. When I spend it on radio, I see where it goes. My investment comes back, and my business just grows. Radio helps all businesses to grow. Find out how at radioheardhere.com.
Brought to you by this radio station to remind you that radio is heard here. Radio is heard everywhere.
Let the WCAB marketing team go to work for your business. It works. Call Tracy or Jim at 287-3356. 24/7 WCAB is serving the foothills of the Carolinas. Learn more about us at www.wcab59.com. Get the first weather forecast at 6:05 here on 100.9 FM 590 AM WCAB Rutherfordton.
Thank you for joining us for My Great America with Jim and Butch. Join us each Tuesday and Thursday morning at 9:05 for this enlightening program on 100.9 FM and 590 AM. It's My Great America with Jim and Butch.